No? How about now? Do y'all hear me? Have I just been silent? This entire time? This entire 4 minutes that I've been streaming? I'm gonna keep talking until someone responds to me. Hi, everybody. So nice to see you. Anyway, what was I saying before? Before I was so rudely interrupted by my microphone not working. Hi, hello, it's me. We're working on developing an app that can be substituted for a consultation because I'm lazy and I don't want to talk to people. And I lied. I lied when I said that we were going to be coding today. We are not going to be coding today. We are going to be working on wireframes today because it's going to be hard to code if we don't know what the thing is supposed to look like. So that's what we're doing. It's still not this nonsense, which still barely makes sense. But I'm sick of looking at this, and I want to do something fun for once in my life. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for responding. You're making me feel so seen. Okay, first things first, I'm going to go in Figma and I'm just going to browse some of their templates for apps. And one has to wonder how one does that. I'm going to start a new design file. And I'm going to see... Surely Figma has some examples. Hazel says, apparently. Nice. Good one. Proud of you. Suspicious. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do, fellas. Here's what's happening right now at the moment. We are gonna go to the internet to look for templates for apps. Now, what is a wireframe? You might be asking. That's a good question. And for that, I'm gonna stop doing what I just did, and I'm gonna do something else. So I was just showing this to a client recently. Where are all my projects? Here we go. So typically in design, when it comes to web development, you have 3 different stages of design that you go through. First off, this is the wrong one. I didn't ask for you acoustic range estimates, I asked for your numbers person. There we go. Okay, so typically when it comes to web design, it's common for teams to go through 3 rounds of designs with revision rounds in between. You have the wireframes, you have the low fidelity designs, and you have the high fidelity designs. Sorry, I'm looking at chat right now. Yes, all of our friends are gathered here. I see Honey, who is a medical illustration extraordinaire. I see Hazel, who thinks that Comic Sans is a good font, and we're just gonna let her believe that for now. Anyway, so 3 stages of design. Wireframes. Think of this as the 5th grade rubric of web development. This is basically where we're making decisions about how the structure of the page is going to go. And this is also where we're making decisions about, in web design at the very least. I'm not sure if this translates as well to app design, but this is where we're prioritizing what we want the customer to see first. So for instance, if you're what we're looking at right now, an accounting firm, what do you want them to know first and foremost? We want them to know that we know numbers and you know drama. No drama. Enough. So we're going to put the brand message right at the top. The second thing we want them to know about is, hey, we have all of these customized solutions for your... It's not a good font. Hazel, Comic Sans is not a good font. Second thing that they wanted people to know was that they offer customizable packages for different needs in their specific business. And then after that, ideally, they want the user to book a call. And then if the user needs more convincing, then we tell them more about, so on and so forth. So, as you can see, wireframes, very bare bones, no images, no placeholder text, none. Just boom, 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 boom. And then when it comes to the low fidelity designs, this is where we start deciding on the layout of the page. So with low fidelity designs, there are some agencies that will want content to be finished before they go forward. Some of them are just fine doing placeholder text. It's endless cycle of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Do we want the content designer to be, or do we want the content specialist to be comfortable knowing this is how much room I have to explain my message? Or do we want the designer to have a little bit more direction saying this is how much content I have to accommodate for? For this particular client, we decided to go lo-fi first, and then we passed that off to the content specialist so that she could write in all of these different lorem ipsum blocks. And then finally, the high fidelity design is the path that we take where everything that is in this design is going to go on the website. No more placeholder text, no more placeholder images, nothing. If it's on here, it's on the website. So this is where we're even getting down to the nitty-gritty of we're correcting spelling mistakes. We're making sure that like everything's aligned perfectly, stuff like that. And then the designer passes this off to the developer, and the developer takes what they see here and puts it on the website. All that is to say, that's how it goes for web development. And that's how I plan to do it for this app. Because another thing that I've kind of been learning on the fly, I did some pre-gaming for this stream. And I looked up a bunch of resources saying, okay, I'm ready to code my app. What do? And they're like, no, you're not. You're not ready to code your app. So, in this particular article that we're looking at, they're like, you should wireframe and prototype your application. And I'm like, well, dang, you're so right. Another thing that I learned is that I have to differentiate between whether or not I want a mobile app and whether or not I want a web app, which you wouldn't think of, or at least I wasn't thinking about that when I started out. I knew from the get-go that what I wanted was a web application. I forgot to tell Google that when I started researching different solutions. So it gave me a bunch of mobile app solutions, which is like, but that's not what I want. Anyway, I'm doing a lot of blabbering and not a lot of working. So let's actually do some work. Why don't we? For once. Okay. Let's see what Figma's got. This looks kind of cool. Alright, please enjoy this free demo lo-fi wireframe kit. Includes +5 unique UI elements, text and styles, and a preview of everything for the full version. Alright, let's see how these guys handle it. I don't want to buy it. I just want to see it. Okay. Why lo-fi? Wireframes help you and your team understand the picture, yada yada, we know that. Getting started. This guide will help you get up and running with the kit. Once you have it working, take a look at the examples page to see what you can make. Also check out the styles page to learn how to customize. Use it as a library. To use this feature, you must be on a Figma paid plan, which I am. Don't worry about it. Figma does have a cute font. Well, I mean, like, Figma... This is not a Figma font, per se. It is a font that is being used on Figma, but Figma does have cute fonts. But, like, think of Figma as just another... whatchamacallit? Graphics program. Anything that's available on your computer right now, especially if you have the desktop app for Figma, is available within the Figma app. Anyway, publishing this file as a library will allow you to access the styles and components of any of your Figma files that have it enabled. They'll be available on the assets page, and then they'll be available in the assets panel. The overall process is duplicate this file so you have a copy in your drafts. Go to your libraries, +3 option, hit publish, create a new file, make sure the library is enabled in the libraries panel. Search for components as assets. Okay, so let me also back up again. What they're talking about is good-ish practice when it comes to making any sort of mock-up, but also when making a Figma file. Hazel, I might just consider using this font for my app. Thank you for your input. Anyway. So typically I do the work that template just described in a components page. You can kind of even see over here with this example how I have it done. When it comes to creating the look and feel for your app or for your website or really for your branding in general, what you want to do is you want to choose a couple of different fonts and a couple of different colors to go with. And then as much as you can, which more often than not means all of the time, you stick to those fonts, you stick to those colors. If you need to make a deviation for whatever reason, make it with intent. Don't just make a deviation from your styling guidelines just cause. So for instance, this particular client used League Spartan for basically their entire typography suite. The only difference between their different heading titles and their paragraph and stuff like that was just the weight of the font. Their colors were a little bit more diverse. They had a couple different blues, a nice orange to accent the blues, and a couple of different neutral greens. And as you can see in my Figma file, in addition to having this all visually available for the client to look at, I also have them programmed in here. So that means, like you can see over here under local styles, I have all the different variations of my typography suite, which is listed right here. And that means whenever I create a text box over here, I can choose from any one of these options in the typography suite. Hold on. I ain't doing this right. So I can choose any one of these options in the typography suite, and it will remain in line with whatever is programmed here. So if I choose H1, it looks like that. If I choose like 2, it looks like that. Same thing for the colors. I have all of these colors added as variables in my Figma file so that I know that I'm always getting the same blue. I'm always getting the same black. I'm always getting the same orange. And I can apply those colors here. This is the blue. This is the orange. This is the other blue. Look at how many blues we have. Thank you, Hazel. I try my best. Anywho, so that's just like best practice when you're putting together really anything that has to do with programming. You save as much as you can. You save as many things as you think you're going to need to repeat as a variable of some sort. Because then you take human error out of the equation. Mostly. Alright, using it as a starter file. You can use this as a starter file. Hopefully, this is helpful for Figma if you have a free plan. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's look at their components. Wow. It's a lot of components. Alright, let's take a look at how they're doing this. Very cool. They have an icon sheet here. So another cool thing that Figma can do is that it can... How do I even explain this? So going back to my example over here, as well as saving all of your different styles as variables, you can also save certain elements as variables. I don't think I actually put this on the components sheet for this client, but I did put it on the home page. So for instance, on every single web page that I mocked up in this file, it's always going to have a header and it's always going to have a footer, meaning the thing that goes at the top of the page and the thing that goes at the bottom of the page. And the real tricky thing when you're developing is that you're making a lot of decisions back and forth about what pages you want to include in your website. So this changes a lot, but if it changes here, it has to change here, and here, and also here. And it's going to be a pain in the butt if you have to keep changing it on every single page every time somebody makes the decision of, but what if I want it? But what if I don't want it? But what if I want it again? But what if I don't want it? So, the cool thing that Figma does is that you can kind of just... How do I explain this? You can take this header, and if you make it a component and paste it on here, you're not just copy and pasting your work. You're telling this page, or you're telling this section, hey, whatever this guy's doing, I want what she's having. So for instance, if I decide to add another C to contact, or if I decide to just get rid of everything but the C, then if I go to the About page, it's not catching up with me. And that makes me kind of sad. Oh, you know what? This is not where I'm keeping my component. See, what I love to do in projects is I love to make things as hard for myself as possible. Here we go. So if I decided all I wanted here was C, and this is the original instance, so it should catch up with everybody else. Haha! Then the About page says, I want what she's having. And so is the Solutions page, and the Bookkeeping Packages page, and the Business Owner's Emergency Handbook page, and the Contact page, and all of the other pages. So it's just one of those things that can save you a little bit of work, or a little bit of tedium. A little bit of headache, a little bit of heartache. Anyway, that's what these guys are doing on this page. But instead of doing it just for the main navigation, they're doing it for everything. Although, I wonder how they're doing it for everything. Each button has a sword icon that can be turned on or off. You can also turn off the text. Oh, okay. So it's breaking it up into every variation of what it could possibly be. So if the button happens to be on the left and you wanted it to be the blue on the white, then you got that. You got it big, you got it medium, you got it small. Same for if you want the middle one. Okay. 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 Remember, if you are joining in chat, or if you are joining the live stream, please shout yourself out in chat, say hi, introduce yourself, make friends. That's what we're all here for at the end of the day. We're here to make friends. And to listen to me talk. Because I have such a lovely voice. Okay, so it seems like they're saving the styles to these pages, but none of these are components. I wonder if I actually have to, like, download the template for them to become components. Oh, it looks like these guys are components. Hell yeah. Alright, let's look at the styles page. Thank you, Hazel, for always being so very friendly. That's the font! That's the font! It's chalkboard! Ah, Jesus. This is great. This is really in depth. Component textiles. I like it, Picasso. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. All right, so one thing that I'm definitely interested in is I've seen it done on Figma before where you can almost create little animations within the file itself, but I don't know how to do that. I've always just done static frames. Okay, so that's one lo-fi or wireframe demo explored. Let's take a look at another. Figma, you already know who I am. I also haven't responded to my friend yet about the dog beach. There we go. Wow, she quick. Okay. Flow and annotations kit. Okay, so this is more about like marking or annotating wireframes than it is about actually creating wireframes. Okay. Still good to have. Oh, this is just the frickin' website. You know? You know what I'm saying? Alright. I need to not get distracted. The people are watching. Yeah, this doesn't look like what I'm looking for. want to do right now? Instead of just doing a Google search, I want to go to this great website I have saved called tools.design. And I want to see what they have to say about all this. Marvel, an all-in-one platform to wireframe products and design digital products. Okay, what you got? Oh. Wireframe examples! Yes, that's exactly what I wanted. And let's look up some research. This all just has to do with websites, which I'm not opposed to, but yeah, screw it. Let's look at, how do I find examples that I want to copy is the real question. This is weird. Sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole now, fellas. I'm just looking at all these different UX things, and now I want to look at some avatar generators. Does this create, like, photorealistic faces from AI? Because that's... wow, I hate that. Ugh. Ugh. That's scary. That scares me. Ew, go away. Alright, Boring Avatars is an open source React library to generate unique SVG based avatars from usernames and color palettes. Nice. Oh, yeah, I might save this actually. Alright. Let's look at some websites, shall we, fellas? Now, ideally, what we want is we want to find some good inspiration for this app. So we want to find a website that says, "Hi, I'm a quiz. Do you like quizzes?" And that's going to be a little hard to find, I think. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Ooh, that looks cool. I want to take a look at that. And none of these websites are screaming, I am a quiz. Although this is interesting with the bottom tabs. Because another thing to keep in mind is ideally, this app is going to be embedded within a website. So we're getting rid of the typical web elements. It's supposed to be like web sized, so to speak, but we're getting rid of the typical web elements of the main navigation and the footer. And we're trying to make it so that it would look naturalistic or natural enough if it was just in the middle of a web page. I really like this because it shows project in progress. It shows pagination in a sense. And it kind of has that step 1, step 2, step 3, or this 3-column layout is very interesting because if we take it back to our wireframe, or if we take it back to our sequence jam, you have a question, you submit an answer, and then you get an end report. Question, answer, end report. This is also interesting just because it's so simplistic, and it has these sections over here that you could click one of these and then you can navigate to it, you know? And what would be even cooler, which would probably be way too much effort, but if instead of it reloading the page, you click on one of these, it fades out the rest of the web page, and then it moves this to the upper corner and then posts like the question underneath. You know what, I kind of want to start jamming on that. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this guy over to my other screen so I can keep looking at it. I'm going to start on that wireframe. Okay, but first, I have to set up this actual gosh dang Figma file. So, you know what? Instead of creating a new file, I think I'm going to dupe my most recent file. I think this was the most recent one that I worked on. And now that I've duped it, I'm going to make a couple of adjustments. Okay, and I'm gonna get rid of all of this. I'm also gonna get rid of all this. Okay. And then as far as references are concerned, I'm gonna go back to my window over here, take the few things that I like. Just so that I don't lose them. I'll include a few notes. So, let's get into it, shall we? Actually, I think I'm going to get rid of the header and the footer here, because again, it really doesn't apply that much. I'm going to keep all of the fonts that I have in here already, because I think that they're good enough for the wireframe. Also going to get rid of the social thumbnail, because we don't need that yet. Now I'll keep the colors, because again, they're good enough, and I already have them in here. But what I am going to do, in addition to that, is I'm going to look up what the most common screen size is. I'm going to use 144 by 900, or 1440 by 900 is my standard resolution. So unlike all of my, not all of my other projects, but unlike most of my other projects, I do want this all to be maintained or to be confined to one screen if possible, which means we're not going to create elements that are scrolling. We're not going to create multiple sections on one page. Each section will be its own page, ideally. And maybe there'll be some like scrolling within the actual screen itself for the wiki articles, but not for the quiz. Actually, I'm going to get rid of low fidelity by now, for now. We're just dealing with wireframes. You know what? Instead of having it over here on this other screen, I'm going to take a screenshot of this guy. And plop him in here. Just for now. And what I'm going to try to do is, first off, let's double check that these guidelines, when was the last time that I updated them? Okay, so for they're for a width of 1300. See, this is the problem I run into. I've been developing a lot of my websites on a 420 grid, or 1420 grid. And that's just too much. Let's go back to 1300, and that'll be WDDs. Let's go ahead and just try to conceptualize these different chunks as blocks. So here's the block with the title, or we'll say this is the main element. And the main element is sometimes title, sometimes a question. And then underneath, we'll put input, I want to say. And the input will be buttons, type, location, and then the third element will be sorry, I just want to make sure that the elements are nice and centered on the screen. So this will be, at least starting out, at least for now, this will be the general rubric for when it, as it pertains to how to structure these pages. So this includes the main screen and all of the questions. Now, in addition to that, let's go ahead and call this screen type 1, or screen type A. Now, screen type B, let's say this is for the wiki article. And then this will be a wiki title. Let's get some Lorem Ipsum all up in here. Let's say 3 paragraphs. Copy. And I do overflow hidden for a text box? Do I have to frame it? I might have to frame it. Flip content. Make this a little bit darker of a gray. Curve those edges. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, thank you, Hazel. This will be the nav. And this will be a table of contents. Let's make this a little skinnier. Hell yeah. All right. We'll make this guy bigger. And this guy. We're gonna make this guy shorter and this guy longer. Nice. Alright, that's a wiki page mocked up. And then the final report would be screen type C. And in this lorem ipsum, let's get a little bit more granular. So we can include a heading. Let's show them what some bullets may look like. You know what, back to screen type A, let's say that this is progress bar. Remember that if you are coming into chat, please shout yourselves out, say hi, make friends, talk about your business, talk about your pets, talk about your plants, talk about your hopes and dreams. And then down here, let's also include the option to like email and print. So on the components page, I want to start including, I guess I did include icons on here. Let's keep that gravy train going. Gonna need an email one. I think this works. Did I already have that there? Maybe yes, maybe no. So let's include in the final report some icons telling them what they can do. They can share it. They can email it to themselves. They can download it as a PDF. Where's my PDF? A printer icon might be a little bit more clear with that. Or a download icon would probably be better. Do I have a download icon here? I have an upload icon. Sure would be nice if I had a download icon. Yeah, these are great icons. The only thing is that there's no easy way for me to search which icon I want. I'm sure there is, but I'm too lazy to look for it. I think that's just the problem with society. You know what I'm saying? You know what? While I'm here, I'm gonna grab this. That looks nice. I like it. Well, what about my download icon? Download, I found you! I've been looking for so long! Why are you not where you need to be? There you go. Yeah. I like it, Picasso. But why? Okay. And now that I think about it, we're also going to need a print version. Okay. I think I'm comfortable with the wireframes for now. Let's do some lo-fis. So for this lo-fi, I think I'm actually going to take a question and try to mock it up. Or I'll start with the home page. Actually, before I do anything else, I do want to go back and try to look into if Figma has a tutorial for how to build this stuff. I feel like they do. When I created my account, I might have deleted them all, but maybe I can find it again. Okay, here we go. Templates for designers, brainstorm, diagram, planning, meetings. That ain't it. This is all fig jams. Get out of here. Not exactly what I was looking for, but interesting nonetheless. I think prototyping was what I was looking for, actually. Figma's prototyping tools, you can turn sketches into a series of interconnected screens so that you can see how a user would navigate through the experience without having to write any code. Yep, this is what I was looking for. What is a low fidelity prototyping? What is an MVP? Minimum viable product is a core part of every product journey in development. So you have an innovative product idea, great. Turning that idea into a minimum viable product gets your idea to the market ahead of your competition, while using as few company resources as possible. Strip away everything but the core features of your products, needs to function and engage users until you have a minimal viable product you can ship that will resonate with users and prove that the business has value. Unlike a basic prototype that might be created to validate product decisions, an MVP is an actual product with ruthless prioritization and with intentionality to its scope. And a minimum viable product concept came from the concept came from a lean startup, a methodology that aims to help startups save resources and hit the ground running. According to lean startup methodology, a minimum viable product has 4 key traits: affordable to produce and replicate, distills a main idea and makes it obvious to potential users, solves a problem or adds value to the user's life, and adaptability. Okay, so this was not what I was looking for, but it's interesting nonetheless. Let's look at low fidelity prototyping. Whether you're a UX designer exploring mobile app concepts or a digital product owner kicking off a feature design sprint, low fidelity prototypes are keys you need to unlock creativity. With these simple mockups, you can quickly test and validate your design concept. Read on to learn more about what is low fidelity prototyping, how your team can use low fidelity prototyping to design a stronger final product, and how to make low fidelity prototypes into 4 simple steps with Figma. I did find it, Hazel. A low fidelity prototype is a simple diagram of an early stage design concept. UX design teams use them to quickly test an idea, identify gaps and pitfalls, and discard product designs that don't resonate with users. An important step in the design thinking process, low-fidelity prototyping drives ideation and innovation for basic page layout, content organization, and user flow. Types of low-fidelity prototypes. Designers use two types of low fidelity prototypes, paper prototypes and wireframes. Okay, so we're doing that. Benefits of low fidelity prototypes. Lo-fi prototyping can have a big impact on your user experience. When used effectively, a lo-fi prototype can help you collect relevant user feedback quickly. Users feel more comfortable critiquing works in progress, i.e. rough sketches or wireframes, than near final designs. Prototypes with more features or a higher level of detail can take more time to assess. Reduce product development risk by addressing user interface issues in the early stages of design and development. Streamline workflows by helping product team members avoid costly, time-consuming revisions later in the design and development process. Make changes on the fly in an agile design process that allows for quick and easy fixes. Collaborate with different teams. Strategists, developers, and project managers can build lo-fi prototypes, especially online prototypes, which don't require design expertise. What's the difference between low fidelity and high fidelity prototypes? Low fidelity prototypes capture design ideas in a rough whiteboard sketch or simple wireframes. Hi-fi prototypes, it's throwing me off how they keep switching between like the short name and the long name. Hi-fi prototypes have the look and feel of a finished product with interaction designs that are practically pixel perfect. They may include animations and clickable screens. Both types of prototypes play key roles in development. Low fidelity prototyping takes place in the early stages of design to model and test concepts before investing build time. High fidelity prototyping happens at later stages when you're ready to stress test design functionality with robust user testing. How to build a low fidelity prototype in 4 easy steps. Any team. This is also not what I was looking for, but useful nonetheless. I'm just going to keep reading the article for posterity's sake. Any team can use lo-fi prototypes to sketch out compelling user experiences. No design experience necessary. Just follow these 4 steps to master lo-fi prototyping. Step 1. Outline the problem you want to solve. What design concept do you want to test to meet user needs and challenges? Work with your business and UX research teams to capture design goals in a clear problem statement. Step 2. Outline core functionality. What design elements and interactions are essential? Sketch out your basic concept, capturing its structure and sequence with a simple storyboard or user flow. Step 3, develop your design. Start outlining the screen in your flow. You could use paper or an online whiteboard or apply ready-made screen layouts with FigJam's prototyping template to keep each screen simple and high level with limited interactions, transitions, and visual design. Stay focused on the problem that you're solving. Step 4, test and iterate your ideas. Share your prototypes with internal teams to align on design direction. Then use the prototype of the selected design to conduct your user testing so that you can refine your design. Pro tip, add notes or comments to your prototypes to help team members and users understand where to focus their attention and why. Explain how key features may work. Cool. Still not what I was looking for, but great nonetheless. This is also probably not what I'm looking for, but also probably still useful nonetheless. I'm not going to get into all of this right now. Maybe off stream. Okay, so these are just, whatchamacallit, they're not how to use Figma, they're how to design in general. What I'm looking for is how to use Figma. I don't want to watch a video. I want one of the Figma files that you had. This might be what I'm looking for. Here's to hoping. Okay, guide to prototyping in Figma. Figma's prototyping feature allows you to create interactive flows that explore how each user may interact with your design. Prototypes are a fantastic way to preview interactions and user flows, share ideas and iterate on designs, get feedback from collaborators, test interactions with users, and present your designs to stakeholders. Tip: for a more efficient workflow, you can quickly toggle between design and prototype tabs using keyboard shortcut E-Shift. Oh, I think I know what they're talking about. So like this is the design tab, and this is the prototyping tab. All right. Flows and starting points. With prototyping in Figma, you know what? I'm looking at the time and I'm realizing I don't think that I have time left in this stream to read all of this. And we might actually be at a good stopping point today. I wish I could have gone longer, but I do have plans to go to the doggy beach. And I'm sorry, but my dog is just more important than these streams. But we got a lot done. We started prototyping. We got a couple wireframes in place. We've identified 4 different screens. We have yet to build out the print version. I'm not worried about that for now. I'm worried about that for later, when it becomes a problem that I could have easily avoided right now. So, with that, I think I'm going to sign off and end things. Thank you so much for coming. Have a fantastic day. Escape the heat. If you're in a place that's hot, escape the cold. If you're in a place that's cold. And, you know, wear your seatbelt or something like that. Bye-bye. Okay, bye. I'm gonna end the stream now.